The day my stepdad called me, I knew something was wrong. His voice sounded strangely cheerful. The kind of cheerful that feels out of place when you're talking about something serious. "Hey," he said casually, almost laughing. "Just thought you should know. I sold your father's cabin." For a moment, I thought I heard him wrong. My father's cabin? The small wooden place by the lake? The one my dad built with his own hands when I was a child. The place where he used to take me every summer. Where we would sit on the old porch swing and watch the sunset over the water. Where he once told me, softly, "No matter what happens in life, this place will always belong to you." I gripped the phone tighter. "You..." "What?" I asked quietly. My stepdad laughed. "Relax," he said. "I had debts to clear." The cabin was just sitting there anyway. It made sense. Just sitting there. Those words felt like someone had reached into my chest and twisted something inside. That cabin wasn't just sitting there. It was the last piece of my father that still existed in the world. After my dad passed away 3 years ago, everything changed. My mom had remarried quickly, and my stepdad, Robert, slowly started taking control of everything. The house, the finances, even the memories. At first, I tried to believe he meant well. But over time, I started noticing small things. Important papers disappearing. Bank accounts being managed. Decisions being made without anyone asking me. Still, I never imagined he would sell the cabin. Not without even telling me. "Robert," I said slowly, trying to keep my voice steady, "you can't just sell it." "Oh, I already did," he replied. And then he laughed again. "Honestly, you should thank me. Those debts weren't going to disappear on their own." My chest felt heavy. Not just with sadness, but with something deeper. Betrayal. Because that cabin wasn't just property. It was a promise. And as Robert hung up the phone, still amused by the whole thing, I stood there in complete silence. He thought the story was over. He thought the cabin was gone. He thought he had won. But what Robert didn't know was that my father had always been a careful man, and sometimes the truth doesn't disappear just because someone thinks they sold it. Sometimes the real story's only beginning. That night I couldn't sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw the cabin, the wooden steps leading down to the chill lake. The little window in the kitchen, where my dad used to stand every morning making coffee. I kept hearing Robert's voice in my head. "I sold your father's cabin." As if it meant nothing. As if memories could simply be traded away like old furniture. But something about his confidence bothered me. Robert had always been careless with details. He rushed through things, assuming no one would question him. And my father? He was the opposite. Quiet. Thoughtful. Meticulous. He believed in planning ahead. Around midnight, a memory suddenly came back to me. A conversation I had with my father about a year before he passed away. We were sitting on that same porch swing. The lake was calm, and the sky was glowing orange from the sunset. He looked at me and said something strange at the time. "Emma," he said gently, "sometimes people don't show you who they are." 3 days later, Robert called me again. His voice didn't sound cheerful this time. It sounded nervous. "Emma, we need to talk." I stayed silent. "The buyers," he continued quickly. "They're saying the paperwork has a problem." I could almost hear the panic behind his words. "A problem?" I said calmly. "Yes," he said. "Apparently the cabin isn't legally mine to sell." I let the silence stretch for a moment. Then I said softly, "That's because it isn't." He froze. "What do you mean?" "My father transferred the ownership to me 2 years before he passed away." The line went completely quiet. I could almost picture Robert standing there, realizing what had happened. "You knew?" he asked slowly. "I found the documents," I said. His voice became tense. "Well, maybe we can fix this. Maybe you can just sign the sale papers and we'll split the money." Split the money. For a moment I actually laughed. Not out of anger, But because the idea felt so small compared to everything that cabin meant? No, I said quietly. I'm not selling it. Robert tried to argue. He tried to convince me. But for the first time since my father passed away, I wasn't the quiet girl standing in the background anymore. The sale was canceled. The buyers backed out. And legally, the cabin remained exactly where it always belonged. With me. A week later, I returned to the lake. The sunset looked exactly the way it used to when my dad was alive. I sat on the porch swing, listening to the quiet sound of water touching the shore. And for the first time in years, I felt something peaceful. Robert never laughed like that again. Because sometimes people believe they've won simply because they act first. But life has a strange way of revealing the truth. My father understood that. He knew people could betray you. He knew someone might try to take what wasn't theirs. But he also knew something even more powerful. The truth doesn't disappear. It waits, and eventually, it finds its way back home.